Hello everyone, welcome back, and if you could someone be so kind as to let me know that you can hear me in the chat, that would be phenomenal. Going to wait for a few more people to show up and get started in just about 1 or 2 minutes. Alright, and we are live. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is the first live stream I've done in quite a while, and as you can see, I am in a slightly, or very different location right now. So I hope that the internet is going to be able to hold up. I'm unsure of exactly how fast it is, so we'll have to see. If you are having some difficulties with the stream quality, please let me know in the chat, and maybe I can restart it and get that settled. Anyway. Welcome back. Today, as usual, I'm going to go over the crypto price action in the past week. So first I'll start with Bitcoin, then move on to Ethereum, and then today I have a bonus with Raven Coin since that's doing extremely well. And then afterwards I'll take questions and perhaps analyze any of the coins that you want me to. So before we get into that, I just want to remind you that every single week I send out these strategy notes in an email format Sunday morning, and then later on in the week there's usually some other sort of helpful trading tip or investing tip that I send out. So if you want to get onto that, make sure that you go to altcoinmentors.com/strategy, and you'll be directed to this page where you can just click get access now, enter your information, and that'll be sent to you right away. Now that I'm saying this, I'm just realizing that I have to put the most recent strategy notes into the autoresponder. So my apologies for that. I'm going to put that on my to-do list, and we'll do that right away. So once again, altcoinmentors.com/strategy, and that will be sent to you right away. The second thing I need to show, of course, is going to be our Telegram channel. 405 people strong. Thank you everyone for your support. We greatly appreciate it. And we are very active in Telegram. Not as active as we were before. And that's because we have some very, very exciting stuff coming down the pipeline that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. One of the things is an online course that we've been piloting called Crypto Trading Essentials, where we're walking through a few people, the founding members, on how exactly we view trading. And it's a little bit different than what a lot of other people do, in which they always focus on just the technical analysis, whereas we altcoin mentors like to say that your analysis is not your edge. You are your edge. And what that means is that you have to keep on improving it, and Crypto Trading Essentials is the framework that we use to constantly improve our own trading. We use strict risk management, implement strict discipline, routines, everything that you need to know to become consistently profitable. So if you would like to hear more about that, sign up for that email list. Again, altcoinmentors.com/strategy. And I know that was a lot of information, so without further ado, let's jump right into the analysis. I'll switch back to the screencast. So I actually have not had to change anything on this chart into over 2 weeks. And really that could have extended out to month and a half, really. Almost nothing has happened in the past 6 weeks. Bitcoin has literally just moved sideways, which has been a little bit frustrating for trend traders like myself. But on the upside, we have established a very strong support right here at $6,000, and that'll be a very, very nice short setup once we break through it. So one of the classic support and resistance trade setups is when you have a breakdown of support and then it retests at resistance, you short that, and then hopefully you get a very high probability trade right there. But aside from that, in terms of Elliott wave, we're still in this ending diagonal. It is slightly unclear whether or not it is this ending diagonal or a WXYZ, which is shown in this pink. If it is, it just means we go down a little bit farther. Doesn't really mean anything that much in terms of practical trading, but good to keep in mind. Like I said, not much has changed on this chart. If we go to below 2,900, that is extremely bad. And right now it looks like it should be targeting around 4,500. But really that range extends anywhere from about right under 5,000 down to all the way to that lower support of 2,900. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get there relatively soon. Or we could just chop around this area for another month. Not much would be surprising. The market has pretty much tried to bore us to death in the past few weeks, and I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to do the same. Hopefully not, though. The upside price target remains the same, still at between 48,000 and 82,000, and we will see if that pans out. I know that right now there's a lot of pessimism in the market, people exiting, like I said, being bored to death. There's a common saying how bear markets or the price goes down because of apathy, not fear. So we certainly are seeing apathy in the market right now, and hopefully we can get some optimism to return in the near future to push that price up to 48,000 after we get some bouts of extreme fear going into those lower support zones. So now going down into one of the lower time frames. Unfortunately, you can see that we don't actually have that much going on. Like I said, the market has kind of just tried to bore us to death in the past month and a half, where it's just been in this extremely tight range. So from like 6,800 to 6,000. So about a 10% range, which for Bitcoin is almost nothing. Yeah, not much to note on the 6 hour. I do have this as starting an impulsive move down. So that does mean that I would expect us to break down from this at any moment, which I've been expecting for the past month and a half. So hopefully we can actually get follow through on that in the near future. And the exact place that this move would be targeting is first that $4,900 area, and then you get that move back up for a retrace into the 5,600s, giving you a very good short trade setup potentially, and then further down into that $4,500 area. And at this time, I do not have a very high probability bullish scenario. Sorry, I just don't see one, and I don't really want to make one up just for the sake of it. I'm just realizing this fib is slightly off, so it doesn't change the targets much at all though. Hopefully we can get some downside resolution in the near future. What's also on the table, of course, is getting that C wave up higher, or just chopping around more. So, like I said, not that much to do except position yourself one way and then wait. if you are trying to do a more longer term trade, a pretty safe bet would be to have your stop right above this swing high, shorting as it gets closer to that. So maybe a small C position here, shorting as you go up with a stop loss above that swing high. And then you have your target at that $4,800 level, perhaps taking some profit along the way. And I guess I'll go into the 90-minute, even though I don't see that much to comment on. Is there anything? Not really. This is maybe the tightest range I've ever seen in Bitcoin for the past week. I mean, this is just absurd. Like, yeah, 150 points, so 2% range. Insane. So let's, before I move on, I'll give about 1 minute to ask any questions you have on Bitcoin. So if you have any questions on what I've just presented, please let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I will move on to Ethereum. And yes, I do know that there are not so many people watching at this moment. It is the first one back, so I do expect there to be much more viewership once we get back into the swing of things. No questions? All right, Ethereum. So Ethereum has, as you can see, had much more downside resolution than Bitcoin did. It broke all the way whereas Bitcoin was mainly going sideways. Ethereum definitely broke down. We got some very nice short trades off of that if you've been following us in Telegram. If there's a wave up, what price range do you expect? So in Bitcoin, like I just said, I don't expect there to be a wave up. And as you can infer from the short trade placement or stop placement, that level above, that swing high above 74.40 is where I would expect, where I would want to see if there were to be something more bullish. So just to lay that out on the chart, if it loads. Yeah, so this swing high right here, it needs to retake it if there's going to be anything bullish, but I don't expect that to happen in the near future. But of course it could happen, just extremely unlikely. Don't bet on it. At least I would not. When the market tests support this many times, it is almost inevitable that it is going to eventually break it and see what's under it. So moving on to Ethereum, I do expect that we are going to get into this zone between 130 and 110, possibly extending maybe closer to that crucial resistance level of 900. So that 2900 area in Bitcoin that I said shouldn't break, the equivalent in Ethereum is 90. If we get below $90 Ethereum, that is no bueno, to say the least. It can go much lower if so, possibly down into the 40s. And while that would be exciting, not so sure how good it is for the crypto market as a whole if one of its leaders gets back into the areas that it was early 2016. But as long as that support does hold at 90, if we can get an impulsive move up, the upside target for this is extremely bullish. So those numbers say 5,200 and 11,700 with a key Fibonacci level at 6,400. So yes, bright future if we can hold that support and rally impulsively off of it. which would be extremely nice. But I am going to be in the near term trading on the short side. Excuse me. I am going to be hunting for that $130 Ethereum. I'm currently short a very small amount, just have been building up a short position as it's chopped sideways. So let's go into the 6 hour. It looks like it's a triangle right now. And if you don't know how to trade triangles, basically what you want to do is wait for that ABC where your C has not gone above your A, and then build up a short position as it goes sideways with your stop above that A. And then once you get what seems like a DE, you can tighten your stop up to C, add some more, and then you can add even more as soon as it breaks down below that B. And then your target is going to be your target from the larger wave pattern. So hopefully we can, this pattern will complete relatively soon. It does need to finish this D move down at least, and then track up for an E. So I do expect this to take probably at least until the next week before we can see some resolution of this pattern. And the alternative is, of course, just your standard ABC. So let's do a different color. So I mean, it's the same A, same B, and then this is just some sort of either leading diagonal or all of a WXY. So, but either way, it would resolve closer to that resistance at 290. So that's the alternative. Either way, resolving up, and should be able to get a nice short trade out of it. Again, above 293-ish, really above that swing point at 323 is when it really is going to start to look more bullish. But until then, I do expect this zone 130 and 110 to be hit. All right, whoa, that has gone up a lot since I looked at it last. This is Ravencoin, and as you guys know, I'm a very large fan of this fundamentally. I think that it has amazing potential long term. I love what the team is trying to do. I think that a blockchain specifically meant for asset transfers and having those specific features is a very good idea. The interesting thing will be if they can implement it correctly and if they can get traction on it. And I do believe they can get traction on it because it is heavily supported by Overstock.com and its subsidiaries, which, as I'm sure you know, is a major player in blockchain and only getting bigger. So I expect that they will continue to push adoption of Ravencoin in the near future. And if so, the price should continue up. It just got listed on Binance. That's what this volatility here was from. And has a small dip, but then continued up. And is now at the upside of my original target, actually. So on zooming into that 30-minute, yeah, it is getting towards the upper end of this range, so that 166.18 extension, so that is no longer becoming useful. Now if we drill down even further into this time frame, I normally don't go down to this time frame, but the reason I'm doing so is because I do have a short-term position on this right now. Just trying to get a good idea of how this will play out. It still seems to be strong, surprisingly. Yeah, no weakness in the technicals so far. am going to just move that trailing stop up to that 4.1 cent range. Don't want to see that retaken. And would probably take some profit. So as soon as the live stream is over, I'll go ahead and do that. And next, take a look at Ripple. And the reason I'm taking a look at Ripple is because if you were on our strategy newsletter, you would have caught this move here. So I had sent out an email saying that there was a trade setup on the long side, and we would enter that at around 44 cents and rode that up to just about that high at 60 cents. And then, so I had said that I'd taken half of my profit there, and then I had stopped out, but like right about that low right there. So decently profitable trade. Obviously, it didn't work out as I would have liked it to. And so far, it looks like it is going to turn down. Yeah, those technicals don't look awful, but they definitely aren't very bullish, and it is definitely moving in threes. So I'd be very cautious to be longing Ripple right now, unless there was some sort of setup that I haven't seen. All right, so that is all of the analysis that I have prepared in advance. So for any of you watching, if you have any questions at all or want some coin that you want my thoughts on, I would be very happy to do so. I do have until just about 6:30, but I am completely okay with ending early if there are no questions. So anything at all, no question is too stupid. There's an issue with our website. The link for this live stream was down. Oh, it's because of the redirect. Yeah, I forgot that the redirect from our website doesn't work on our email provider. Yeah, that is my fault. So our website right now is currently being developed. It is taking much longer than we would have liked, as I'm sure anyone who has worked with a web developer before knows. Estimates are never on things are never on time. It's kind of like construction. So we are definitely in the process of getting our website up and running. It has been a longer process, but will hopefully be resolved soon. And yes, it is a known issue that the redirect link does not work with our email provider. But I had forgotten that because I have not done one of these in a very long time. Thank you, Alex, for bringing that to my attention. I'm going to write that down right now so that it does not happen again. And I will be linking directly to our YouTube page in the future. Yeah, that is highly unfortunate. looks like there might be some weakness developing. So if I were to guess, we're going to see one more high here. So probably get a low, maybe to touch this swing point here. And then get one more high up. And I would expect that to be the end of this rally. As I had said in the newsletter, this is not a bullish pattern. Well, okay, you can't see the pattern on Binance's exchange because it's too young, but it was moving in threes before, which does usually portend a bearish move. And with the rest of the market looking like it could break down at any point, it doesn't quite look good for the short-term future. Now, what is a possibility that it does hold support at around that 3 to 2.5 cent range, and if it does, it has to rally impulsively, and then I might be convinced that we're going to see something more bullish. Are there any other questions? If not, completely okay. Alex, you're probably right. That's why there's not that many people here, because I messed up on that link. So there's no other questions. I will end and then probably take some profit off the table on this Ravencoin trade and eat dinner. Made ribs in my Instant Pot, which I just got, and they were delicious. So I look forward very much so to eating more of those. Loom. Okay. So I was looking at Loom earlier, and it has broken down to new lows, so its long-term pattern is completely dead. Short-term, I didn't get a chance to look at yet, but I will look at it right now. Yeah, moving threes. So let me just go into a lower time frame and show you what I see. So this is clearly a three-wave move. This is ambiguous. And then you have a grinding move up. So this is probably going to be a leading diagonal. Actually, it's probably something like this. There is potential that 3 is here, and that we have a 5 still to come, but I would probably put my money on it having been completed here because of that A equals C pattern. So let me just get these right. So because of the larger pattern in an ABC here, you do generally see that last wave be equivalent to the first move, and because it had retraced so much, it is already past that 1.0. And in log scale, I'm going to approximate that it's getting close or has already passed it, so I would expect this to be already completed. Now, the fact that it is moving sideways does challenge that a little bit. You do see your internals decaying, but it did have a strong move recently to bring that RSI off of that 40. So it's not bearish yet, but if you are in it, I would caution you to stay in it, and definitely not buy. I would definitely not buy this right now. You have decaying internals. You're at near a key Fibonacci swing point. Moving in threes. This also looks like it could break down at any second, even though it hasn't confirmed yet, which I want to reiterate. Look at that. It's a beautiful level. So what I was talking about earlier, you would have gotten a really nice trade off of this. So you have 1, 2, 3 touches. It breaks through that level, retests it, and then you have just a magnificent, easy trading below that. But I actually don't know if you can short Loom. Maybe with one of the decentralized derivative platforms. So I hope that made sense, Sasa. I'm not sure how to say your name. Sorry about that. Hope that made sense. Generally, when you have consolidation like this, so if you're more of a pattern guy, let me change the visibility on this. If you're more of a chart pattern guy, you would recognize this as a bear flag. So, like that. And bear flags resolve downwards with a target being at the equivalent move preceding it. Although I don't... Whoa. Okay, I guess I do need to do it on long scale. Let's try to find a bottom. Yeah, so it's at 13 cents right now. This can go a lot lower, unfortunately. Yeah, looks like it can go down to that 4-cent range. So I'm definitely not going to touch this. If it breaks above this region and can make it through this resistance, then it becomes interesting. This could morph into a leading diagonal, so it would probably look something like this. Yeah, that 1, 2, this would be probably your A of your 3. And you go like that, and then this would be your 1 of a larger impulse, so 1, 2, and then it'd explode up from there in your 3. But in my experience, you can never rely on leading diagonals to save you from a corrective pattern. It's just not something you can trade profitably with. But so far to me, yeah, this looks pretty cut and dry. Any other questions? All right, I'm gonna start the outro and then answer any questions afterwards, as usual. So, if you would like to get this in your inbox every single week, you should go to altcoinmentors.com/strategy. Included in it is our long-term price action analysis, as well as some short-term setups when we see them. So we had called that Ripple trade. I had laid out the management of this Ravencoin trade, and you can get that by going to altcoinmentors.com/strategy and signing up. If you are going to do that, I would recommend that you do it in about 10 minutes, because I do have to go into Drip and change the autoresponder so that you do get the most recent strategy notes. And then make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and go to our Telegram channel for more intraday action. Although I will warn you that we are going to be moving away from Telegram in the future, opening up a Discord group instead. So stay on the lookout for that. More information coming very, very soon. And I'll switch the webcam. Until next week, or whenever you happen to watch a video that I'm in, I hope that you have a wonderful week and a very profitable week in trading, if the markets don't just bore us to death. Well, I guess you could be profitable if it is by selling options on Deribit, but don't do that unless you're very experienced. No more questions? Cool. Thank you everyone for watching. We're going to be doing this every single week from now on. So 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Be here, be square. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next video.